Hello? Nyla?
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
I'm Ronan. I'll put my gun away. You're here by yourself?
Um, there was another, but I don't know where she went. I, uh, I met someone on my way over here, and she helped me get here.
Okay. Alright. I guess let's take a... You want to light the fire? Or, I mean, I got matches.
I am trying to get some kindling.
Here, I got some...
Hold on.
I got some
There's another
paper.
piece of wood out there. I need to grab real quick. There's a piece of, wood that I couldn't pick up. Fuck, did I believe it? Here it is. So that the fire doesn't go out immediately.
Alright. Okay. So, where are you from? Why did you want to meet up?
Well, I'm from the States. Um, well, close to the border of Canada, but
Oh, yeah, where at?
close to Saskatchewan.
What's that? On the Canadian side?
Yeah, that's a part of Canada.
Where, are you from Canada or are you from the United States?
I'm from the States, but I started getting into flying and piloting and traveling a bit. The fire's very warm. I need to move.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Rochester, New York. Uh, Me and my brother been living here for 10 years. Um, and I had a bury my brother about 3 weeks ago. Um, yeah, so I've been basically by myself for the last 3 weeks and just thinking about a lot. And that's why I put that radio call out the other day. Um, I've been watching people from the distance, and there's a lot of senseless killing. And I don't understand what we're doing as a species because how many of us have died all around the world? How many of us are left? And if we don't get our heads out of our asses, like I was saying on the radio, we might be the last generation of people, you know. So
I know things aren't looking so good, and I think it was Russian forces. 'Cause,
we,
before I heard your broadcast, I heard a broadcast from the military saying that they touched down in Chernogorsk.
yeah, a couple weeks ago, something happened down there. Um,
I just remember them saying that the territory looked ideal for whatever they wanted to do, and that it seemed justifiable, whatever that means. All I know is that obviously things aren't so good wherever they came from. At least that was the impression I got.
right, right.
I don't know what the fuck is going on across the rest of the world. I wish I knew what was going on back home.
Well, this infection definitely is not natural. There's no way. You know what I mean? Somehow, I mean, I don't know anything, but somehow it had to be made in a lab and it wound up getting out because I don't know. It seems like it's with the spores and everything, like when the news was going on before everything fell. Um, there's no way fungus can do what it's doing to people. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was made in the lab. Maybe Mother Nature's just taking back what's hers, though.
I mean,
Maybe.
it could be. All right. Yeah, maybe. What were we going to say?
I hope not.
Right.
Maybe it's just, all of the vanity and all of the... I mean, what if it's self-preservation? What if this is how it gets rid of us so that the planet can survive?
Right. Well, I mean, the planet is a living organism. You know what I mean? I mean, that could be true. The only reason, like, I like to read a lot, and the only reason I'm saying that is in nature there are things like this that happen, but on small scales of like insects and all. But the human body is so complex, and for something like this to happen naturally, there would have been signs of it, I think, on small scales. You know what I mean? Like it would have started out as a cold
Mm-hmm.
for a couple years, and then it would have got worse because it would have kept on mutating and mutating. And like you would have seen signs of something like this, like I don't know, 100, 200 years ago. Something doesn't just
There would have been some other strain that could affect humans on some level that you could compare it to. There's no way it could just evolve that quickly.
right now. There are like the Spanish flu. I don't know if you know anything about the Spanish flu. The reason the Spanish flu was so deadly and we didn't have a natural immunity to it. It was a virus that just came out of nowhere. They do know that it was in ice, and it wound up getting out that way. So, like, it is possible for certain bacteria or viruses and stuff like that, but this ain't a virus. It's not a bacteria. It's a fungus, and like LSD, like acid and shit, is made from fungus. So like it can alter insects' brains and stuff like. But our brain is so complex. Our immune system's so complex. Our bodies are just so complex. That's why we have survived as long as we have. You know what I mean? Like nothing's has taken us out. There's things that have hurt us, like viruses and outbreaks, the Black Plague, stuff in our human history, but nothing's ever taken us out. You know what I mean? Like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, it was like it started, and then within months, it brought the world to its knees.
Maybe there's merit in both arguments that maybe it was made in the lab and it was also made to decimate the human race.
Right, right. So, yeah, I don't know, but I, maybe we'll never know. I don't know. You know what I mean? But like the thing
I
is,
find I find books that tell me what happened here sometimes, but I'd love to find something that tells me something about the fungus.
yeah, my brother found a book. Um, shit, that had to be like 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. He found a book, and then we opened it, and it was just a normal book or whatever. But then it had a big giant A written in it. That's it. And we were like, and you could tell it was like kind of like fresh because it was a marker, and you can actually still smell the marker scent. You know what I mean? So it couldn't have been. And we were like, what the hell is this about? That's the only book we have ever found. Well, he's gone, but that I've ever found. Um,
I uh I have one in my bag. Lonesome Land. Just tells a story of a man and his wife
the
trying to get out of a refugee camp.
that's what the book's about. Or
It's not a book so much of as it is a retelling, a journal.
oh, it's a diary, kind of.
Yeah, a very short one.
What's the guy's name?
Oh shit. I'd have to read through it again.
because there was a guy that contacted me on the radio, and he was near my base, and phew, this had to be shit like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was after my brother died, and he contacted and he was saying he was up here, and he says who has a base up here. So I contacted him. I said I do. I said what are you doing near my base? He's like I'm looking for my wife. He says me and my wife got separated, and he I'm almost positive he told me his name. I can't recall it right now. And he left me a bag, and he said he was going to move on. I never met him personally. I just over the radio. And when I got back to my base, there was a bag there. It had some tools in it, a little bit of food, like canned goods and stuff like that. But he said he was looking for his wife, and it's kind of weird that you just mentioned that. You know what I mean? That's all I know.
Looking for his wife?
Hey, he was looking for his wife. I said, well, why would she be up all the way up north? There's not a lot of people up here. You know?
Well, maybe that's what she was thinking too. Self-preservation.
Right.
I mean, before I met you, I got robbed by a couple of people in the woods.
Right. Oh yeah. What? Where?
Yeah, I got lucky.
Where at?
Near the coast.
Uh,
Solnichi.
do you know what they're? Did they have armbands or anything?
Oh no. As far as I know, they weren't affiliated with anybody. They were just
Bandits.
hungry and
Bandits.
yeah. If they'd if they'd only asked, they'd still be breathing.
Oh,
They just asked me for some fucking food.
you killed them. So
I didn't have a choice.
no, I hear you. I hear you. How many people have you killed?
Just them.
So you did it for survival reasons.
Well, they were gonna take all of my food, and I would have starved to death.
No, I understand. I'm not judging. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, just I get it. Um, yeah, I had a when we were living in the QZ. I formed a group of other survivors, and our group were like just good-hearted people, just trying to get by, and we wound up getting a lot of supplies, like stockpile, like food, water, medicines, and stuff like that. And we started coming across people that were like in need. So we started like giving some of our food away, some of our medicine and water, and giving people a place to lay their heads down for the night so they could just rest. And then this other group wanted to get us out of there and take us out, and they beat me pretty bad, and they left me for dead. And I woke up like almost passed out. My blood pressure was real low. I was losing a lot of blood. Thank God, I had a blood bag on me, and got some of my, I pumped blood into me to kind of slow the bleeding down, and I healed my wounds, well, bandaged them to stop that bleeding, and I got back to our church that we were working out of. As soon as I opened our front door, I passed out, and I woke up, and one of my guys were standing over me. He was with me when it happened, but he went to go look for a little bit of supplies because these guys acted like they were in need, but I knew that they were up to no good. So we locked ourselves in our church so we can bandage our wounds. We were both pretty bad. It took me a couple days to get back on my feet, but the guys, moments after we got back to the church, were saying they were going to come back in 2 days, and um, I was like, all right, come back. I said, you don't know who you're fucking with. We got a lot of guys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they came back in 2 days and they ran to their base. We chased them down. We wound up killing their leader, the guy that left me for, not the guy that left me for dead, the guy that was with him. There was two guys that went to leave me for dead, but there was more of an aggressor. He got away. So we wound up killing three of them. Basically took that whole group out, but the guy who left me for dead, he got away because the cops came and they told him never to come back to this town. They realized that we did it in self defense. And a couple days after that, I was on a supply run with my brother and this guy who I made my right hand man. You know, kind of like my advisor, like bounce ideas off him or whatever. And sun was going down, so we wound up finding a shed that can fit us three. We wound up sleeping in it for the night. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I go outside. I heard a stick break behind me. I go to turn. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in the medical center inside the QZ, and there's infected everywhere. And I made it back to my church. There was no one there, but thank God that we set up a safe house right across the street from the church, and that's where most of our supplies were. I got in there, no one was there. Stayed there for 4 days, just staying in the area trying to find my men. I didn't understand why there were so many infected, blood everywhere. There was bullets all over the streets, ground, like whatever. And then I wound up finding my brother, and he said that the QZ fell and a big horde came through, and he didn't know what happened to me. And then he told me that was a month ago, not a month from now, a month back then. And I was like, wait a minute, you were telling me I've been missing for a month? And he's like, yeah. Now, when I woke up in the medical center, I had bandages around my head. I had a patch over my eye. My eye was okay. I had a big scar over the top of my eye. My ribs were wrapped up. It was hard to breathe, so I could tell my ribs. What I think happened, I don't know. No one really knows. I think that guy that got away found me, was watching me from a distance, and when I went to go to the bathroom, came up and hit me in the back of the head, and I think he brought me somewhere else, and he was beating me or whatever, unconscious, because he wanted to kill me because I killed his people, basically. And I think someone stumbled upon what he was doing. Because he was a coward, he probably ran away, left me there, and whoever brought me to the medical center, and while I was in the medical center, I think everything fell. Because my brother said once I went missing, it was like a week later that the...
Just gonna drink some water.
Oh, you're good. It was about a week later after everything fell. So that group that I had in the QZ, we went by the Sons of Liberty. And when I woke up, I found my brother. Me and my brother were just surviving off the land. Came up here, I built a base, me and him, and then I contacted some people over the radio and wanted to do a trade with them. My brother stayed up here at the base, and I left, and when I came back, our gate was open, and there was infected everywhere, dead on the ground, and then I found my brother dead with bite marks all over him. And a
I
bullet.
can imagine what that must have been like.
Yeah, it was horrible. He was my little brother, and a bullet hole in the top of his head. So I think he realized that he was going to die, and he didn't want to turn, so he ate a bullet. And I buried him. I drank because I found a case of beer. And then the next day, I went out for a hunt. I had a car back then. I went out for a hunt, and when I came back, one of my walls was knocked down, and my car was gone. So I fixed that up.
Fuck.
I fixed my gate up, or not my gate, my the wall that got knocked down. And this was all about 3 weeks ago. So for the last 3 weeks, I've had a lot of thoughts and everything run through my head. And before the world went to shit, I really wasn't a good guy. I wasn't a good person. I did a lot of things that I regret, but I did it for survival reasons because I didn't have a good family or whatever. I'm not trying to have a pity party, but that's all in the past. And the best thing I've ever done in my life was become the leader of the Sons of Liberty and try to help people. And I felt good about myself, and I realized I was a natural at it. So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to come up with a force to be reckoned with. I want to start a community, a settlement of good-hearted people, people that work together. Put it out there that if anybody needs help because they're dealing with bandits or people just trying to kill them, people torturing for fun, whatever the case may be, they can rely on us to come in and help them out. And try to give people back a sense of life, liberty, and be able to pursue happiness. And I think if we do this, we can beat this infection and we can bring some kind of form of society back. So, you wanted to meet, because what I was saying on the radio. Does that sound like something you want to be a part of?
Absolutely.
All right.
If the two people who robbed me had only asked me if I had any food to spare, I had enough for all three of us. If only they didn't point their guns at me, I wouldn't have felt the need to take their lives, and I wouldn't stay up late at night wondering if it could have gone differently.
Right. All right. Well, as of right now, it's only me and you. So,
I'm honored.
it's a dragon, but when you look at it, it looks like an S. For stands for the Sons, Sons of Liberty.
I'll wear it with pride.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So I do have to ask you, what kind of skills do you have?
Well, I can, uh, I can fly a, uh, I can fly a Class C, passenger plane.
Okay.
Not no C-130 military type of shit, but the standard, just like people who are pilots as a hobby. I could fly one of those. I'm a good hunter. I can I can skin any animal, and I know which part of it I can and can't eat. The infected pose no threat to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm very, 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 very efficient with a crossbow. Only mine recently broke, and I didn't have the supplies to repair it.
Mm. Where did you find one of them?
I found it sitting, I don't remember if it was on the counter, in front of it, or behind the counter on the floor, but it was one of those places in a hunting shop. It
Oh,
was overlooked, I guess.
the little like little shops that used to have
Well, I
something.
imagine when everything got kicked off, no, not the ones with food, but the ones that you find hunting jackets in and things like that, or hunting scopes and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
imagine when everything kicked off, they took all of the hunting ammo and all of the hunting rifles, and they saw the crossbow and just didn't figure it would be any use.
Shit, man, you can always make bolts and you know what I mean. Like it's a thing that never runs out of ammo. All you got to do is get some sticks and feathers or whatever. I would get that. All
Yeah, I'm
right,
really, really good with a crossbow.
all right. So I'm gonna bring you back to my compound. I'm gonna give you some supplies so you can set up your own little house, and we'll go from there. Are you good with gardening?
Um, I've never grown anything in my life, but I suppose I can always learn. That's pretty simple shit.
Well, I used to grow weeds, so I'm pretty good at farming. I'll teach you how to farm. But you said you're good with a crossbow and you like hunting and stuff.
Yeah, and the infected, I'm immensely proficient at dealing with them.
Right, right. All right. Well, we'll work together and try to make our group as big as we can, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to bring you back to my compound, and I'll show you where you can have your living quarters until we gain more trust with each other and get to learn each other. You know what I mean? So